Welcome, I'm Flo from Surf and Help with a new edition of the Surfing and Saving the World podcast, where we focus on two topics: projects with special causes, and secondly, cool experiences related to surfing. And today our guest is combining these two topics better than ever. Pascal Rösler from Munich is the founder of the non-profit initiative Pure Water for Generations. And Pascal recently did something absolutely amazing. He took his stand-up paddleboard and paddled from Munich to the Black Sea, a over 2,400 kilometer and 63 days long trip. He used this trip to bring water quality of our rivers a bit more up into our agenda, and also raise some awareness and funds for this issue. Hi Pascal, it's so good to have you on the podcast. Thanks for taking the time.
So thanks a lot that I can talk to you. It's a pleasure for myself.
Great. First question, could you just describe the tour that you did, this long trip to the Black Sea? How did this work? Maybe a bit about the logistics. Where did you sleep? What did you eat? What did you take on this trip?
Sure. It's very easy. So I walked out of my apartment in Munich. 10 minutes to the Isar. It's a river in Munich.
Yeah.
And I step in there in the Isar. I have a stand-up paddleboard, an air soup with me, 14 foot long, and a baggage with 60 liters where I can put all my stuff into it.
Yeah. And
then I have got a paddle, and that was it. And then I started, and after 63 days, I arrived in the Black Sea. Very easy.
Wow, that sounds really impressive to hear somebody. Very easy. Taking a couple of things. A 60-liter bag sounds not very big. For example, to sleep, did you take a tent or did you look for accommodation where you could actually stay the night?
Yeah, so the first, I think, of 50 days, I stay always at small pensions or small hotels near the river, of course. Mm-hmm. And after there in Romania, you get a little of a problem because there are no hotels and nothing else. So it's pure nature. It's unbelievable. So at the end, I bought a tent and a sleeping bag, and that's all. So it's really, really easy to make a trip, and it shows me that you reduce your daily things to a minimum, and you don't need so many things for your daily life. So that was, for myself, it was really amazing to see how you can have a simplified life, not as we on a daily life, we have now, I think, 10,000 things in our household. In the 19th, we have only 400. So you see the complexity is always rising. To reduce this complexity, it gives you more lifetime, of course.
That sounds great. How did you come up with this idea?
So it started a long time ago. So to give you a little bit of a background, after my studies, I started in the consulting and investment banking business, and after 10 or 12 years, I get this book into my hand. It's called From the Founder of Patagonia, Let My People Go Surfing. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people know this book, and I read it 2010, something about this, and it changed my life totally, because I see that you can be an entrepreneur. You can be successful and you can give something to the nature back. But then it takes me another 6 years for myself to find out that I wanted to go this way, like the founder of Patagonia, Ivan Schuina. During this time, I paddled a lot with my stand-up paddleboard. Usually, I'm a windsurfer, and I started with windsurfing 30 years ago. So I spend a lot of days on the water or in the water, and I always use the water as a resource for myself to have fun. Mm-hmm. But this book changed my mind and said, okay, if I can use this resource for my whole life, I have to give something back. After reading this book and talking to people and feeling the nature in a very, very deep, I have a very close relation to the water. So sometimes, so it was in March in the 2016, I was paddling on the Starnberger See. It's a lake near Munich. I was paddling there for a tour about 2 hours. And suddenly I had this idea, okay, I will paddle from Munich, first of all, to Vienna. So it's about 500 kilometers. It's going via the Isar to the Danube. And to collect for every kilometer I paddle, I wanted to collect some money and give it back to a fund or whatever. I had no idea at this point. I had no idea. I had only this idea in mind and the feeling that I have to give the nature something back. So, and 2016 I started with my first paddling tour from Munich to Vienna, and at the end of the day I collected about 10,000 euros. I gave it to the Bavarian government, to the Bayerischen Naturfonds, and we did some 3 smaller projects. So at the end of the day, I was paddling again after this trip, because as I arrived in Vienna, there was a sign that the Danube has to go still 1,932 kilometers from Vienna to the Black Sea. So that was the sign I read there and said, okay, I will do this paddling for, I don't know, the next 5 years, every year 500 kilometers, and it will take me another five years. And then at the end of I've got maybe for every tour I collect 10,000 euros. So at the end of the day, I have got 50,000. But, during my paddling on the water in the summer or in the autumn, I have this idea, okay, I should do the whole trip from Munich to the Black Sea in one trip. Yeah, and that's about, you already mentioned it, about 2,500 kilometers. It goes to 10 countries. There are 4 capital towns, and it's a really amazing historical way also. So I start reading about the Danube and this trip, and then I realized to myself, okay, I will do this, but not for the organization, for governmental things. So I said, okay, how can I fund my own company or my own non-profit organization, and which kind of name I can give it to the organization. And I was, I think, hiking in the nature, and then I had this idea, it's pure water. And then I said, okay, no, it's not pure water, it's pure water for generations, because that's what we really need. Yeah, don't think about ourselves, our generation. We have to think about generations. So, and then we started to set up Pure Waters for Generation as a non-profit organization in Germany. So we can, everybody can give us money, and we can give them tax certificates for this. That's very important in Germany. So we set up this in the beginning of 2017, and for me it was crystal clear that I will paddle at the same day 1 year later after the 2016 trip in 2017. So I started at the 20th of July 2017 in Munich at the Isar.
Wow.
And what we try to do is to get a lot of awareness from people, from the media, and so on. So we spread the message, and we spread it in the old way. We don't use very much Facebook, so we started with Facebook with 1 follower. It was myself. So we really, because I think we have to get in touch with people. So all my friends come there if I started there, and we have got some press and so on, and the television was also there. So at the end of the day, there was around 100 people there, standing there. And for me, it was a very emotional moment, because I've got a priest there who blessed me who gave me the blessing for my trip. Because if you go for such a trip, you need something spiritual, somebody who cover your ass or something like this. Yeah, it's really so. And I only did this trip because I wanted to raise awareness for Pure Water for Generations and to raise as much money as we could. For myself, I would never paddle down the whole Danube, because at the end of the day, you paddle every day 40 kilometers, 6 to 8 hours on the water. And of course, it was an amazing trip. But and I learned a lot of people. I met so many people. I met I learned about myself a lot of things. So it's like a spiritual way, of course. So at the end of the day, after 63 days, I arrived in the Black Sea. And it was so, okay, now we did the next step. So, but it's going on. So it's only we take, I said it like it's pedal stroke after pedal stroke. So this journey is only one pedal stroke.
Yeah.
Because what I saw on the Danube is, and that's hurts so much. I need every day 5 liters water to drink it. Yeah, 5 liters a day. So in Germany and in Austria and in Slovakia, I managed to take it from the tap, and drink it there. But after there, the quality is dropping down, so I have to buy plastic bottles.
Yep.
So I bought every day 5 liter water in plastic bottles from a supermarket or a mini store or whatever, and filled it in my bottles. But I produce plastic. So the water on which I stand 6 to 8 hours every day, I could not drink. Yep. Because if I will drink the water from the Danube, I will get, you know what you will get if you drink dirty water. I don't know the English word at this point. So you get really in problems with your health. So it's not very good to drink it. And I asked a lot of fishermen and people I met on the trip, would you ever drink the water of the Danube? And nobody said yes. Yep. But what they told me is that years ago or generations ago, people drink the water of the Danube.
Yep.
So there were times where people can drink it and don't die or get diseases or whatever.
Yeah.
So with this in mind, pedaling every day, you said, okay, what are we every person of us, what we are doing with our water? Yeah, and especially the water on the rivers is the first water. It comes from the mountains. It's very clear, and then it comes the first town, and then the water quality drops down, and the water goes in the oceans, and so on. This is the one thing, the water quality. But then after Belgrade, that's in Serbia, people told me you will see a lot of plastic, and I said I couldn't imagine this. But it's really so. So at the end of the day, it's on the left and right side of the river. You see plastic, and more plastic. And there is a study of University of Vienna that 4.2 tons plastic a day goes into the Black Sea every day. So that's, and I think it's even more. And you don't see the whole plastic because a lot of plastic is in small particles, and it's floating under the surface because there is a lot of stream in some areas. So on the surface you see bottles and all the stuff, but under the surface there is a lot of more things going on. And then, so we are very quick in the nature or in the water quality theme. And if you know this, that the plastic will go smaller, and smaller, breaks down, breaks up, and whatever. So the fishes begin to eat them, the plastic, because they think it's food for them. So they eat it, and we try to catch a fish. We catch a fish, and then we will eat the fish with plastic in the stomach. And then if you know if this plastic needs more than 650 years to get out of the whole universum, then you know, okay, we are doing something really stupid. And I didn't know this at the beginning of my journey. So the journey for myself was to explore, to identify, to analyze a little bit, to feel what's going on with our rivers. Because only if you are on the river every day, then you get a feeling. And at this point I did not measure the quality of water with an instrument or something like this. I only have a look, feel, smell. And of course, if you take your paddle and put it in water, there's a difference between clean water and dirty water.
Yeah.
So that was my big how should I say? Yes, this was my discovery in this journey. Okay, there are rivers in our countries, and at the source of the river you can drink it. But then there's coming the first or second town, and nobody will ever drink the water of the rivers. So what is going wrong?
Yep.
And I'm still I'm still wondering myself and asking myself why it is so.
Yeah. And with the income that you generated through the Clean Water for Generations Association, as part, for example, for this most recent trip, are you starting to then also kick off specific initiatives or projects or investments to get? I think I read about water quality as one of the big goals of your association. Can you talk about that for a moment?
Yeah, of course. So at the end of the day, at the end of this trip, I raised about 36,000 euros. Yeah.
Wow. So, congrats.
Thanks a lot. And we produced a documentary about my journey. So on 20 days from my journey or from my trip, there was a camera team with me. Yeah. But they do not help me, or they did not help me with food or something else. They only make the footage. And we produced now a documentary series about 1 hour. And we had our film premiere on the 8th of February in Munich for about 400 people. So this is the first thing what our organization did is to spread, to share what I saw during my trip. And the things I told you, I tell this in the movie as well.
Yep.
So everybody gets a feeling about, okay, what's going on his trip, what did I see on the rivers, what I feel, and what are my thoughts about it. So that's very important to have something to spread the message. So now we are going to smaller cinemas in Bavaria to show the film also, and we will put it on Vimeo, I think, in April or May, so that everybody can see the movie, of course. So what we did with this movie, so we spread it. So first of all, we invested in a movie. About 2/3 of the money we collected, because if you produce a film, it really costs money. And a lot of people supported me with pro bono. That's unbelievable. So our budget was very, very small. But we managed this. And the second thing is now what we will do. So if you look at my trip from Munich to the Black Sea, now we will change it. So we will start on the Black Sea and going back to Munich, but not paddling. That's not possible. You cannot go paddle against the streams. That's really hard. So, but what we will do is we will be at or we will spot 30 to 40 spots where we collect the waste, especially the plastic, work with people at the spots, with the local community, have a fun with them, of course, drink with them a beer, but enjoy the river and try to like I wanted to have local ambassadors for the quality of river. So that, because at the end of my journey, I had some beers and I met an old fisherman, and he's responsible for the Danube Delta. It's a wonderful place, and he's responsible for 800 fishermen. And I have a discussion with him, and I ask him, "Do you think that it's possible that we can drink the water of the Danube in 25 years?" And he was the only person on the whole trip who said, "Yes, we can." So now our mission is very clear. It's of course pure water for generations, but our vision is focusing on the Danube is to have drinkable water from the Danube in 25 years.
Yep.
So, and on this topic, we start working.
Exactly.
And why the Danube? The Danube, maybe I've got a special relation because I grew up at the Danube. The Danube is the second largest river in Europe, and there are so many countries who are involved in this, or they are involved in this river, or so the river flows through these countries.
Yeah.
So, and it's the only river in Europe who don't go to the North Sea or whatever. It goes to the Black Sea. So it's something unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will start with this, and let's see what will happen. So first of all, this year, I will start at the 20th of July in Sulina. This is the place where the Danube goes into the Black Sea. And I'm not quite sure how many people will follow me. It's the 20th of July in Sulina, but I will start there, and then we will see. So at the moment, I'm in the fundraising again for this trip because it's a trip for 2 months. Hopefully, I get some water experts with me, or one water expert. Yeah. So we will start measuring the water quality and so on. So it's a very big project this year, and we will see what we can do. So on the other hand, I've got another job, so it's always trying to balance it. Yeah. Yep. Of course, I would love to work my whole 365 days on this project, but on the other hand, you have to have a look that you have got something to eat as well.
Yeah. And so for people that are interested in the new excursion and the new activity starting this summer, like a first step could be to actually participate in joining you starting at the Black Sea, and then let's say dedicating a week of their holidays and say joining you in the first 2 or 3 stops. Is it a bit like this? Yeah,
it's like this. So, but we will announce that we have got our webpage is pwfg.blue, also pwfg.blue, and we will announce it. But at the moment, we are preparing the trip. Yeah. It's mid of March, so we have not so much time. But we let things flow. Yeah. Because it was on my trip, I let things flow. I don't. If you paddle against the wind, if you have wind from in front, you cannot paddle. So you have to give them a flow, and we do it with this project as we did it with the other project as well. So we let it flow and see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I have a big trust in life. So things will work out. We are working quite hard, but at the end of the day, you cannot have a plan for everything. Huh?
Yeah. So. No, that sounds amazing, and I just wanted to sort of point out a couple of more points where people that got interested in what you described, which definitely sounded like a really, really inspiring summary of your experience. The opportunities to get more information would be the website that you mentioned, which we can link, or which I will link in the show notes of the podcast, which I understand then stands for is like the short form of the Pure Water for Generations, and then .blue. Is that right?
.blue. Yeah,
exactly.
That's right.
That's one URL. Then obviously, I think that's an easy way to find you. Just Googling the name of your association, the Pure Water for Generations, in Google and Facebook. Are there opportunities to get a summary of your experience on these? I think there's a way to donate money on these sites as well.
Yeah, of course. And the sites are also in English, so we have. So it's not everybody has to speak German.
Yeah, great. And then the last, of course, also really, really interesting outcome of your work is this documentary, which I understand right now there's still the way of watching these by really going to the specific screenings and shows that are taking place in Munich. And there is another one coming up fairly soon. Is that right?
Yeah, we have got now, I think, 4 other screenings. So, but they are always around Munich. So they are located to a 200 kilometers around Munich. So at the moment we are focusing on Bavaria, but we are looking out for international film festivals as well.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, the movie will be shown on Vimeo. But we're not quite sure. So we are when the right timing will be, and then the film will be shown in 9 episodes. So we created it like episodes. So from week to week you can see a little bit more. And of course the trailer. Everybody can have a look on the trailer. The trailer is already online, and I think you can put the link on the podcast as well, so everybody can have a look at it. And it's a very special film. It's not an action film like somebody who is paddling down there. It's a film about the nature, about the water, about my thoughts about life, and it's about my own developing as well. So that's what I called my spiritual way. And of course, I can, to everybody who has time, 2 months or something, take your paddle, take your board, and paddle down a river. It's really amazing what you will see. Unfortunately, the quality of water is not as good as you think. Yeah. But anyhow, that's the beginning of something. And in my case, you see, I read a book, and now we have a talk about water quality. I think that's amazing. So everything starts with a little flame.
Yep. And
then it's getting bigger, and more people can put action on it. Yeah, bring their experience in, contacts. It's not about money. Money is nice to have, of course, but at the end, it's about people who are passionate about water and wanted to give something back. Then everything started on another level, because we are always talking about money in the business, and that's not very good. So we have to talk about our feelings and about nature and feel it. Yeah, that's really important. Feel the nature, and then if you feel it, then you know from one point to the other, okay, I wanted to do something for the nature, because that's so easy. So it's so obvious. But it takes me 44 years to understand this. So sometimes the way is a little bit longer.
Yep. No, but like I say, a fantastic story from reading the book "Let My People Go Surfing" by the Patagonia founder to what you just described. I think so. I got this book as a present of one of my friends that did a lot of great initiatives also related to the environment and surfing to me. So very interesting. We'll add it in the show notes as well. And I can just wrap up from my side. This story so far is absolutely interesting and inspiring. What I would love to do, so we need to stay in touch and then also share your future updates on the portals that I can influence. And then, I can't wait to see how the next adventure in summer will turn out. And then maybe at some point we can have another opportunity to have another conversation about your great adventures and initiatives.
I would love to do it. Yeah. So, Florian, thanks a lot for your time and for your support you give us with your podcast. That's great. Again, and with your organization, I think everything helps our nature.
Great. Big thank you to Munich, and talk soon. Bye.
Bye.